It seems very clear that we are starting to see the escalation of the civil war between the Republican Party and Trump and MAGA. You might call it the Republican meltdown. If you thought that the Republican Party couldn't get any more dysfunctional, think again, because the last few weeks have been absolute chaos. And instead of fixing their problems, Republicans are setting everything on fire, and the Trump-MAGA versus Republican civil war is growing. Let's break down the different elements of it. First of all, House Republicans. Medicaid cuts are blowing up the budget fight. We will talk on the bonus show about what the House passed yesterday. House Speaker Mike Johnson tried to wrangle the party behind Trump's economic plan. It includes $4.5 trillion in tax cuts, $2 trillion in spending cuts, and $880 billion that comes out of Medicare. It passed, but even some of Trump's most loyal cronies, like Jeff Van Drew, are panicking, and he's right to panic. Because if you gut health care for millions of working Americans, it is arguably political suicide. And Republicans end up trapped. Do they please Trump, or do they try to avoid getting wiped out in 2026? And it doesn't seem like both are possible. That's the first major point of conflict and contention. Number two, House versus Senate, the budget war. Senate Republicans are basically throwing House Republicans under the bus. Lindsey Graham and others say, let's do a much smaller package. Let's focus on security and defense rather than doing what the House Republicans are trying to do. Trump, he's flip-flopping as usual. Sometimes he backs House hardliners. Sometimes he cozies up to Senate Republicans. It's what can I say to get the people in the room with me right now to like me? And the result could be a legislative train wreck that might derail the entire agenda before it starts. Number three, at the state level, we are starting to see cracks. The Michigan Republican Party saw a Trump loyalist get crushed in that state Republican leadership race to lead Michigan Republicans. Jim Runstad defeated Michonne Maddock. That's the same Michonne Maddock who's been indicted for her role in the 2020 fake elector scheme. And this is not just Michigan drama. What we are seeing among Republicans trying to figure out who's going to lead us in Michigan is a warning sign that there are Republicans getting sick of the election conspiracies and MAGA chaos. It took a few years, right? But some of them are getting sick of it. The point is that if more parties start pulling back at the state level, the political machine of Trump could be weakened very quickly. Number four, MAGA communism. Now, it sounds crazy. I wish I were making this up, but there's an actual movement trying to merge Trump-style nationalism with socialist rhetoric. They call it MAGA communism. This guy, Jackson Hinkle, is leading the charge. And the idea is to take left-wing economic language, strip it of solidarity with workers, and twist it into this nationalist authoritarian mess. And there are some hardcore MAGA fans that are looking at this and saying, that's the wrong direction. It's fringe for now, but the fact that it exists really shows how fractured and desperate the right-wing movement has become. And then number five, we look at the Colorado Republican Party in total meltdown mode. State Party Chair Dave Williams in Colorado decided to go all in on the anti-LGBT rhetoric, and there's been significant backlash. Party officials resigning, not necessarily because they stand in solidarity with LGBTQ people, but because they recognize that in Colorado it's a losing strategy. Donors are pulling money, moderates are walking away. This is the problem with making the culture war your entire brand. Eventually, you alienate everybody except the most extreme voters. And the Republican Party is now fighting on all fronts. You've got fiscal conservatives versus MAGA populists. You've got traditional conservatives versus extremist factions. You've got interventionist on foreign policy wings up against the new Trump, we're against wars thing, while actually enabling brutal authoritarianism and looking the other way. You've got state party leaders versus Trump's kind of looming shadow, and the cracks are widening into these full-on fractures. My interest in this is that because the Democratic Party does not seem to have figured out what the hell to do to take back some semblance of control here, I don't think I can rely on the Democratic Party right now to try to fix this thing. So I'm really putting a lot of eggs in Republicans destroy themselves basket. And let me say a little bit more about that. I did hear from many of you after my interviews with Senator Cory Booker, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Adam Schiff. And many of you said, David, they don't seem to have a clue how to fix this thing. Smart people, nice people, heads screwed on straight, but I don't know that they have any idea how to actually take back the narrative. And I'm concerned about the same thing. So we're going to work on fixing the left, but we also should encourage the right to eat itself. And MAGA versus Trump versus the Republican Party right now is exploding. And I say we allow it to happen. Let me know what you think. And remember that we are pushing towards 3 million YouTube subscribers. Let me see where we are right now. Last week, when we started the push to 3 million, we were 155,000 subscribers short. We are now 102,000 subscribers short. We have, in 5 days, done away with a third of the gap to get to those 3 million subscribers. Let's do it. YouTube.com/The David Pakman Show. We'll take a quick break and the show will continue. People in the audience know that I have never had a cat. And so many of my friends have said, you've got to meet my cat. My cat's awesome. And they're always right. And I end up loving the cat. And that's why I love that one of our sponsors today is Smalls, who make cat food with human-grade ingredients. Smalls uses protein-packed recipes with no preservatives or artificial flavors, using ingredients that you'd find in your own fridge. That's why Cats.com named Smalls the best overall cat food. And Smalls works with the Humane Society. They've donated over $1 million worth of food to help cats, and they even give you a chance to donate at checkout for vaccines, spaying, and neutering. I have a friend who recently switched to Smalls for his cat. I can tell you firsthand, his cat's food smells way better now. And it's because of the human-grade ingredients that Smalls uses. No more weird odor filling the house. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. And the team at Smalls is so confident your cat will love the product that they will refund you if your cat won't eat the food. Head to smalls.com and use promo code PAKMAN at checkout for 50% off your first order plus free shipping. The link is in the description.